Hello, 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 my Virgo collective. Sun, moon, rising signs, welcome to your What Do I Need read for this new moon in Aries to full moon next in Libra. I am your reader, Angel Lyons, Mal for short, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and Virgo Sun sign. Very, very happy to be in service to my fellow virgins. How you all doing? As you can tell, I am in my bathrobe and in my jammies. I've got my black cashmere hoodie on, just comfy as can be, because I'm not leaving my house, and I think you know why. I'm doing this on Saturday afternoon. What's today's date? The 21st. Yeah, so you know, if you're watching this in the distant future, look back and go, oh. yeah. So I got a nice Wonder mug of coffee. I super chatted this morning at 11 a.m. I will again at 11 p.m. tonight. But I made some homemade chicken soup, Italian chicken soup, really, really good. Had a nice helping and fell asleep on the couch. So I'm rested, I'm ready to rock and roll. So welcome. If you are new to my channel, please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and by all means feel free to comment in the comment section down below to let me know what any of this means to you, because this is a card draw. All right, it's a little bit different than a spread. I'm going to pull 7 cards, one from 7 different oracle decks and, well, 2 tarot decks that I work with as voices from the divine. Because this is a what do I need read, essentially going to the divine and asking with a certain amount of open-heartedness and open-mindedness, what do I need in this case for this new moon in Aries, which is on March 24th, Tuesday, by the way. A new moon on a Tuesday? A new moon in Aries on a Tuesday? That's insanely good for new things, right? New beginnings, initiating anything, self-love, self-healing, self-anything, right? Why? Because Mars is the first sign of the zodiac. New moon, first day of the new, right, will wax and get stronger. And on Tuesday, a day ruled by Mars, which is the planet that governs Aries. So a lot of cardinal fire energy there for one day. We don't always get them on a Tuesday, but it's always a new moon in Aries in March, right? So let's get down to it. But do remember, this is a general read, right? So some of these might hit, some of them might miss, but that's why I'm doing Sun, Moon, Rising sign, so you can get your pieces, your clues, your tips, your hints from the divine. And just take what resonates. And if you follow your breath, as I say in every reading, right, partner with your breath. You'll watch me find the still point between the inhales and the exhales to just to check right in to the divine within, always in the present moment. That's where these readings come from. Cool? So if you're doing the same, we're essentially doing this reading together. Isn't that sweet? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to start with the angels. All of the decks that I read are in the description box below, and there's a new deck that I got while visiting Saratoga Springs. I got it from the Magic Moon, and I'll talk about it when I get there. Cool? Let's do this. Take a deep breath, my Virgs. Here we go. I feel that. Hello, my angels. Please, one card in clarity for the Virgo collective. Sun, moon, rising signs for this new moon in Aries on March 24th to the new moon in Libra on April 7th, please. What do we need, right? Because I am a Virgo. What do we need to know? What do we need to be aware of? What do we need to keep our eye on for this new moon in Aries to full moon next in Libra? Let's see. Divine timing. Now, I think it's a great card, divine timing, except when divine timing isn't fast enough, right? When you want it now. Now, look, Virgos, we tend to be a little bit more on the patient side. We understand on some level that we're here to serve, but that we can also serve ourselves. And considering what's going on the planet right now, chances are things are going to be delayed for another month or 2 or 3. We don't No. So can we trust that divine timing is a constant thing? There's never been a time where divine timing wasn't a thing going on, so that we can relax a little bit and trust that we are being served by the delays as well as served by things that happen really, really fast, and of course everywhere in between. Now, that doesn't say what that divine timing pertains to, although it does kind of cover everything. That's why we're going to check the other decks, right? So let's ask the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. Fiona Morgan, love this deck. I've been reading this tarot deck longer in service than any of the others. If you are new to my channel, it's my pleasure to tell you that I started reading tarot when I was 12 years old, and I'm going to be 52 this year in September 6th. You have a gap between your teeth that makes you sound like Cindy Brady. Millennials, Cindy Brady. I'm not explaining who Cindy Brady is if you don't know who Cindy Brady is. I'm a spiritual teacher, not a cultural teacher, although I am cultured because I know who Cindy Brady is. Shall we? Let's ask the goddesses. The divine feminine, the half of the universal energy. Nice deep breath, please. This feels really good. My goddesses, please. One card in clarity for the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign for this new moon in Aries to this full moon next in Libra, please. What do we need? What does the Virgo collective need? What do we need to keep an eye on? What do we need to be aware of? What do we need to be tuned to, sensitive to this new moon to full moon next? Yeah. Ten of Cups, Inanna's House of Heaven, the card of ecstasy. So it can be that perhaps we have been waiting for this Ten of Cups emotional fulfillment. Now, it does make sense with the divine timing thing because we have to have a certain emotional infrastructure in place to hold the kind of wattage, voltage, emotional current for ecstasy. Now, we've felt it before. I mean, Lord knows I have. Non-chemically induced. Although that too, but that was the 80s. It's left my system. That we need to be prepared for that because we're always being upscaled. We're always being upgraded. So that means, you know, there's a lot of self-healing that we've needed to do, a lot of processing, a lot of emotional purification, that kind of stuff, in order to prepare for that. Hence that card of divine timing. But very interesting that we're given the feminine element of water from the divine feminine, the goddesses, really saying that, you know, we need to be aware. We need to allow our cups to overflow, and it's okay to do that even if everyone else in the world is freaking out around us, right? Why? Because we're the servants, right? And our happiness is a blessing to everyone. Remember, we're all one thing. We're all part of the same quantum field. So the highest and best and most best feeling emotions, particularly ecstasy, if you want to use that word, you could use joy, you could use bliss, is a blessing upon all of life. And don't forget that, right? It's like servicing ourselves, interesting way of saying it, is a service to all of life. Cool? Let's ask the gods, the divine masculine energy, through the mythic tarot, Juliet Sharman Burke, another one of my favorite decks based on Greek mythology. Greek mythology always has my back. My gods and goddesses back there, my pantheons. So let's ask them what's going on. What do we need? Here we go. Breathe. Oh, this is good. That nap was exactly what I needed today. My gods, please, Dionysus in particular, since we're talking the ecstasy here, please, one card in clarity for the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising signs. What do we need this new moon in Aries to full moon next in Libra? What do we need? What do we need to keep an eye on? What do we need to be aware of? What do we need to beware, which means be aware of, right? My gods, please, one card in clarity for the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign, this new moon to full moon next. Whoa, the Chariot. Okay, now this is Aries, the god Aries here in this Chariot, bringing together, channeling the forces of the light and the dark horse, right? The light and the shadow, the yin and the yang, the positive, the negative, the masculine, the feminine, pick your duality. So there's a certain amount of balance, like I said, infrastructure, right? We need to be able to handle that forward motion through having and certainly an internal infrastructure, but then also a way of channeling that into the world and moving forward. The way I like to think of it is these two horses, one is inspiration and one is motivation. And there's a difference between the two. Inspiration is the carrot, motivation is the stick, if you know the metaphor, right? So the inspiration is, oh my God, that feels so great. And the motivation is, come on, you got to do this, have the discipline, move forward. Like what's motivating you is very different than what is inspiring you, right? So the light and the dark there, if you will, the masculine and the feminine. So I like these together, particularly because we're talking about divine timing, that this might have taken us a while to get here, that it couldn't happen a second sooner and it won't happen a second later than it's supposed to in divine timing. But that with this going on in the inner, in the yin, the ecstasy, the bliss, and this going on in the outer, the yang, which is a very yang masculine card, right? Mars, Aries, the god of war. But a lot of people don't know that Aries was trained by Priapus in the arts of dance. Now, if you don't know who Priapus is, you might want to Google that. Make sure the kids aren't in the room. The god of Schween, as it were. Let's just leave that there. So, so he is as well an artist, right? You think the martial arts. What are the martial arts? They're the arts of war, but they're very yang, right? Even Aikido, which tends to be a little bit more yin, right? It's like you take the energy of your opponent and redirect it back towards them. Still is that way of taking that energy flow and channeling it in a disciplined way forward. So, yeah, we're going to get these rushes of ecstasy, maybe all at once, maybe, a bit here, a bit there, a bit here, a bit there, this new moon to full moon next. But that we do have to have the balance and the discipline to channel it correctly. Because just because you're feeling ecstasy doesn't mean you should go running naked in the streets. Number one, it's illegal. And number two, it's still chilly where I live. Not great, considering. Let's ask the new deck. Yay. Oh, wait, did I put his box back? Yeah, there he is. Just because I like to call out the new ones. This is the Angels, Gods, and Goddesses Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. I give credit where credit is due. Probably because us Virgos don't get the credit a lot. So I really feel like let's pave the way for that. Let's give credit where credit is due. Now, this deck does not name the angels by name. It names them by title. The same with the gods and the goddesses. So, there's no specific pantheon indicated. You'll see. It's really cool. And there are only 3 different types. There's angel cards, god cards, and goddesses cards. So we're only going to get one. So let's see what they think we need, feel we need, see we need. Breathe. See we need? Sounds like seaweed need. Here we go. My angels, gods, and goddesses, please, one card in clarity for the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign. What do we need from this new moon in Aries to full moon next in Libra? What do we need to know? What do we need to see? What do we need to be aware of? Considering there's a divine timing element here beyond our control. Can't speed it up, can't slow it down. 10 of Cups, ecstasy. I would really like to experience that as a Virgo personally. And with the Chariot, the gods giving us a major arcana card here. This is a bigger deal than just, oh, we had a good day and we were walking on sunshine and starting to feel good, right? So my angels, my gods, my goddesses, please, one card in clarity for the Virgo collective this new moon to full moon next. The Angel of Emergence. The Angel of Emergence, it is time for the real you to emerge. Well, if this is an indication of the real us, now keep in mind, joy, let's step away from ecstasy for a moment. Joy is the natural state of the soul. So this could be about the joy of being. This could be kind of an existential ecstasy, an ecstatic existential energy. That's a lot. It's a mouthful is what that is. But I like that. The Angel of Emergence. And that means with the angel card that it is divine timing it's all emerging in divine timing. Now, what I think is going to be interesting, because being a Virgo, you know, whether you're sun, moon, or rising, you know that we can be a little self-critical, right, of mistakes we've made in the past, or things that we think of or believe or have been told were mistakes in the past. And an existential experience like this can really show us that we didn't do anything wrong. Even our mistakes were necessary for our learning. Like the immune system needs an antibody in order to create an antigen, right? In order for the immune system to grow, there are things in there that people would think of as mistakes. Now, I know that's a little timely, but that's the metaphor they gave me. And let's just use it as a metaphor for right now, okay? It's not that I'm staying away from the topic, but first of all, YouTube has new rules about that, and I'm totally cool with that. They don't want fake news going on, and I get that. But that's also why I'm doing the 11 a.m. and the 11 p.m. super chats, so we can pray and meditate and talk about it, still without saying the name of it, to kind of help and support each other. So this is really more about the individual signs. Cool? Boundaries, Virgo, cross your legs. We're the only sign that crosses its legs. We've got 3 more cards left, and I love these 4 so far, really. Divine Timing, Ecstasy, the Chariot, and the Angel of Emergence. It's time for the real you to emerge. Well, rock on. Let's ask the higher selves, which is the real us, right? The higher self collective, the higher selves of all involved through the Whispers of Love Oracle, and I adore this deck. And there are no, oh, it's going to suck cards in this deck, which is part of why I love this deck. Let's have a nice deep breath, shall we? The higher selves of all involved, please, mine included. 1 card in clarity for this Virgo collective sun, moon, rising sign. What do we need for this new moon in Aries to full moon next in Libra? What do we need to know? What do we need to see? What do we need to keep our eyes out for? Critical, precise Virgo eyes that we do have. What do we need for this new moon to full moon next? Higher self collective. Union of Hearts. This has been coming up a lot lately in these spreads. I love this card, the Union of Hearts, but it's a little annoying, and when I read it, you'll see why. The Union of Hearts. There is a connection of love that defies explanation. And what do Virgos hate more than anything is something that defies explanation. What do you mean? You mean it doesn't matter how I look at it, how I sift it, how I sort it, how I analyze it, microscopically so? It defies explanation. I want an explanation, right? I don't think we're going to get one. But I do think our cup is going to overflow as a result of a connection of hearts, right? Whether it's past life or not, it doesn't say. There's another card for that called Spiritual Connection in this deck. But there's a connection of love that defies explanation. And by the way, yes, that could be existential. It might be a connection, a divine connection, right? That our hearts expand with the divine love, true love, the love of the higher self. And of course, that's going to play itself out differently throughout the quantum field in terms of the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising. So, when this happens, please comment, and I'll let you know. Well, I try not to name names. You know, I do try and give people their privacy. But I'll tell you, if I ever start dating someone in a committed way, I'll have him on. And then we'll have proof of him. Great. Instead of the snuffleupagus boyfriend deals that I've had in terms of social media. Okay, I mean, they exist, but no, I don't want to be on camera. Womp womp. Anyway, let's ask the Ascended Masters. These last 2 decks will both be draws from the Ascended Masters. We're going to do the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, a tricky little deck if ever there was one. Very Course in Miracles based, in my opinion. 4 suits, the suit of the problem, because it's good to know the lead that you need to alchemize into gold, although that is half of the deck. The other half of the deck is the suit of luck, which are very fun cards. The suit of healing, which is, as it sounds, healing energies. And the suit of grace, which is sort of a divine substance, amazing kind of card, and things that we associate mostly with the divine. Cool, cool? Let's do this. Breathe. Oh, my Ascended Masters, please. There you are. 1 card in clarity for the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising signs, please. What do we need? the Virgo collective sun, moon, risings for this new moon in Aries to full moon next in Libra, my ascended masters. Pretty quick. Trist. It's a luck card. I think we're going to get lucky. Now, how we're going to get lucky, I don't know. With everything that's going on the planet right now, we're not even supposed to be within 6 feet of people. But you get the vibe. You got to talk a tryst. I mean, maybe it's over the phone. Texty. And again, let me know how this plays out, because I'll let you know, if I can, how this plays out for me. I'm not forgetting this reading anytime soon. You know, I do have a secret playlist on YouTube that I keep readings in that particularly hit me. I'm like, oh, I want to see how that plays out. I check it every week or so, not every day though. So a tryst, what is a tryst? A tryst isn't necessarily cheaty. It's not necessarily in the shadow, but it is a little hidden, right? There's no such thing as a public tryst, right? It's private. It's something kept not out of shame, but out of privacy, out of intimacy. A little secrecy goes a long way with us Virgos, right? It's like, oh, let's keep it a little on the down low. No one needs to know our business. Unless we want them to. In which case we will tell everybody we know, but usually by mouth, right? Oh, I love that energy. With the Union of Hearts, this feels romantic, sexual. I don't say that unless there are cards that sort of scream that. But I'm sort of feeling it here. And although this may not scream it, it certainly whispers it. So especially with that whisper of love, Union of Hearts, that defies explanation. Last card down. Let's see what the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn has to say about what we need. Now, the great thing about this deck is that a healing mantra is something that we can focus our minds on, right? The word mantra itself is Sanskrit. It means to cover or to protect, right? So sort of like a shield, I guess, different than an affirmation, in my opinion, though people disagree with that. They say that mantras and affirmations are the same thing. But with an affirmation, I think you're trying to make something happen, where with a mantra, you're sort of signaling the soul, particularly these mantras, that I'm ready for this type of healing, right? It's showing our allowance. It's showing our willingness in a way. Cool? So one side of the card is the mantra itself, the other the name of the mantra, so I can look it up in the bookie book, because aside from the mantra and the name of it, there's nothing else written on these cards. And the little paragraph in the little bookie book, extremely helpful. Breathe. My Ascended Masters, last card down, please. What is the perfect healing mantra for this Virgo collective? Sun, moon, rising sign for this new moon in Aries to full moon next in Libra. What is the perfect mantra for this Virgo collective sun, moon, rising? Considering we've got divine timing, ecstasy, the Chariot, Angel of Emergence, the Union of Hearts, and Tryst. This sounds pretty cool, especially with that Angel of Emergence, something about our real selves emerging. Which, Virgos, we will cross our legs. We don't necessarily, give it away now. Although I would to Anthony Kiedis. Maybe even a little flea. So my masters, sorry for the digression, please. What is the perfect mantra for the Virgo collective? Sun, moon, rising, signs this new moon to full moon next. Because what I got, I want to get and put it in you. Encountering conflict. I don't choose sides, I take a stand. Now, I've gotten this card before. This is really about conflict, not necessarily within yourself, but with other people, particularly if there is a conflict of, political agenda, right? Or a conflict of belief system, that there is a way to do this lovingly. I don't choose sides, I take a stand, right? Encountering conflict. Let me get you this one here. Hold on. Encountering conflict, a little long, but worth every word. Encountering conflict. I don't choose sides, I take a stand. When conflict is encountered, two opposing viewpoints wrestle for a dominant position. No. Really, Virgos? Each hopes to achieve success by changing the other's viewpoint. If encountering conflict from a conscious standpoint, you may realize one of the greatest gifts you can offer is allowing others to be heard. It's a big deal. You may not agree with their argument, but you are embracing their needs simply by choosing to listen. When you listen instead of lash out, you are taking a stand for love. This is making the decision to anchor higher frequencies of light through the demonstration of your ethics. We'll talk about that in a minute because we're big on ethics usually. Your ethics, morals, and values instead of matching the unconsciousness of others with equal amounts of aggression. This mantra is ideal for settling arguments, unraveling passive-aggressive behavior, and releasing the tendency to blame. This could be somebody coming back from our past. This could be, I mean, because it's got that card tryst there with the Union of Hearts, this is probably a lover from the past or somebody that we might have had a disagreement with and went our separate ways and now coming back together, but not telling everybody about it. That's sort of the vibe. And for me, that can be the hundreds of men. But only because of that tryst card. I mean, Union of Hearts could be with a family member, too. And can you have a non-sexual tryst, a non-romantic tryst? I guess so. I mean, not in this card. They're making out in a gazebo. Usually you don't do that with family. that's what's the word I'm looking for? A little ooky. Right? Right? Turns my Virgo second chakra upside down. But it does feel like with the conflict that we will be encountering, to be in service by letting someone be heard, because what do we feel like when people aren't hearing us? Right. Just hear what I have to say. I don't care if you agree, right? Just let me fucking say it, right? That to give that to another is such a sign of ethics and really love, because we are all one. It's not that we're all connected, we're all one. So what a virginal service to say, well, I'm gonna keep my boundary up. I don't have to agree. I don't have to match you in this argument, but I can sit here and focus without trying to think of what I'm going to say next. So I'm not really listening to you, to really listen to you and to acknowledge that there is a soul in there, that whatever it is they're saying, that soul has a right to express itself, even if its personality is completely way off from the truth of the soul, which is the majority of people on planet Earth. That includes us too, a good amount of the time. So I kind of love this. A divine timing thing, right? This does indicate perhaps, again, something that took a while to get around to. But that Ten of Cups, that ecstasy, it feels like things might be resolved here with this encountering conflict. That there might have been a conflict that as you re-encounter it, it is healed. And that also gives a little touch of the card of strategy here, or a touch of strategy with the card of the Chariot, right? Considering that there's a tryst and a Union of Hearts, then the Angel of Emergence, it's time for the real you to emerge. Well, maybe it's time for the real them, I guess you would say, of the other one in this tryst that you have this Union of Hearts with for the well-being of all. I like it. I'll take it. Wrap it up. I'll take it. Cool, cool. Thank you, my Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising signs. May you be blessed with all that you need this new moon in Aries to full moon in Libra, March to April 2020. May you be blessed with the Angel of Emergence, that the real self comes through with the Union of Hearts and a tryst with the Chariot, moving it forward as we encounter this conflict in divine timing, with some vibe of ecstasy flowing through us as we do for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is, my Virgos. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed of this new moon to full moon next. But for now, I'm signing off as I always do. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.